Welcome back to the Flamingo Advantage podcast. I'm your host, Katie Hornor, and I am super excited to be with you again for this episode. We have a very special guest who is a wife and a mama, a daughter of the king, an entrepreneur, like most of our guests. But her passion is to restore the family unit to the way God intended, to help bring those faith-filled mamas back home to raise their children as warriors for the kingdom. And she does this by training Christian entrepreneurs to find clarity for launching and building their businesses, and specifically around running summits as well. So, Kristin Dronchi, I'm really thrilled to have you with us today. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Tell us what made you so passionate about choosing this specific niche for your business?
Oh, goodness. Well, really because I am, like you mentioned, a wife, a mom, an ex 9-to-5er. And what really drove me was rewind quite a few years when I hit rock bottom. When I really didn't even know who I was anymore. I had done all the things. I checked all the boxes. I went to school, I got good grades, I was told to go to college to get that degree, to have a great job that pays the bills and be a good member of society. And then fast forward, I just was not even recognizing who I was anymore. My faith was dwindling, relationships were dwindling. And then through personal development, spending time with the Lord, and really just questioning, is this all there is? There's got to be so much more to life than this. I realized that I wasn't doing what God created me to do. My 9-to-5 was draining me because it wasn't what God created me to do. And the key to living a fulfilled life on this side of heaven is extracting your God-given genius zone and walking in your calling and your purpose on this side of heaven. So when I realized that and got this understanding of entrepreneurship and what was actually going on, and there was so much different things out there than that 9-to-5 employee mindset, I was like, wow, other women need to know this. But more importantly, other moms need to know this, because when I had the surprise blessing last year, our little one came into our life. I was just like, I can't go back to that 9-to-5. I can't go back and have someone else raise him and have someone else in the school system and all of that stuff that's going on right now be raising him when God gave him to me to raise him as a warrior to do what he needs to do on this side of heaven. So I just ramped up my business, really just took that step of faith that God has been was tugging on my heart to do, and take that step forward and actually do the thing that he called me to do. So really, that's why I'm so passionate about working with women who want to be home, who want to create their online business by God's design so that they can be home to raise their warriors instead of having the school system or someone else raise them.
I love that. I love that. And I think there's a lot of moms in our audience that probably feel the same way, whether or not they've taken steps yet to put that into motion. But it is so true. A lot of us feel like, or maybe we're told, I think culture and society tells us that it's less than to be mom, right? But that was our first calling. Like that is the most important thing. And I tell folks I can make money any day. Like I can do that until I'm 95, but I only have so many hours left with my kids.
Yeah.
Right. And it's super important to make those hours count. And I'm thrilled for you, and that you've turned this into a way to leverage this to also earn an income and to provide for the family. Would you say that that's your Flamingo advantage? Is that what makes you so unique in the work that you do? Or what would you say that that is?
I would say yes, definitely part of it. And making sure that my faith is first and foremost in my business, because when I was operating and trying to do the business and everything all in my own flesh and all just because I wanted to do it, when I finally took a step back and realized what my core values were, and number one was faith, number two is family, knew that I needed to incorporate my faith and my Christian values in what I was doing. I couldn't separate them. I couldn't keep them apart because that's just who I was. So yeah, I would say my Flamingo advantage is definitely my heart that I have for women to be home, to raise their world changers, because it's just one piece of the puzzle. If we want our future generation in this world to change, it needs to start at home. And then that second piece of the puzzle is really incorporating my faith into it, because that's super important to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And we always say your message matters, right? Like your message, the message God has given to you, and for us in the faith-based niche as well, it's, if you're still living and breathing, it's because God still has a purpose for you here. Somebody needs to hear what you have to say or what you have to teach them, right? And you don't call it the Flamingo advantage. You have a different name for it. And I would venture to say that it's similar, right? But tell us about what you call the message and how you teach that.
Yeah, yes, definitely. So God, I call it your lighthouse message, but it starts with knowing that God created you. And when he created you, he gave you a mandate, a divine mandate. And I was reading a book and read that one day, and I thought, gosh, that sounds kind of scary. Like he gave us a mandate. But when I actually grabbed the dictionary and looked up mandate, it's an official order or commission to do something, or the authority to carry out a policy or course of action. It gives someone the authority to act in a certain way, and it assigns territory under this mandate. And I'm like, oh, wow. God gave us an official mandate, which basically is an official order or a commission to do something. So even before we were born, he had this official order or our calling to do what we were created to do on this side of heaven. And he gave us the authority to carry it out. We already have the authority to carry it out. He has the blueprints. We just need to go to him and take that course of action and get the blueprints from him. And he also gave us the authority to act in the way we need to act in order to carry it out. And then this part, which really just got to me, because there's no competition in the kingdom, he assigned your territory under this mandate. So he's already given you this little space in this online space of you to have a realm of influence over.
Yeah.
He's given you the people in the territory that he wants you to show up and use your lighthouse message, because they're waiting for you to show up so you can help them. So that was just mind-blowing to me. And then the lighthouse message is the voice of your mandate or your calling. It's why you were created, and it's how you're going to show up in this online space in order to call in the people that you're called to serve.
Yeah. I love that. Because your territory, the place that God has put you, like that's your sphere, call it your sphere of influence, call it your territory, call it your kingdom, call it your, ecosystem. If you're a flamingo, you work in a certain territory, and the flamingos eating and fishing and farming and like living life. And that if they didn't do that in their ecosystems, the entire ecosystem would suffer. Right. And when you don't show up and do what you were created to do in the space that God created you to do it, your entire ecosystem will suffer because of your lack of disobedience. Like God will provide, people will still get fed from some other way. Right. Like I think, I was talking with one of our summit speakers a couple of months ago about Esther and the idea that, her uncle told her, if you don't do this, God will provide protection for his people from some other way. Mm-hmm. But what if you were brought here for just such a time as this, right? And I think all of us have to embrace the fact that our God brought us to this time in history for just this time. for just this place that he's put us in. And he by assigning that mandate, it's so cool. I'm getting goosebumps because it's like he already knows who's supposed to work with you.
Yeah.
Like he's already assigned them to you as part of that whole assigning of your territory. That is so cool.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry. We just have to trust and let God bring them to us when we also obey to do our part of whatever it is that he's calling us to do.
Right. Yeah.
So cool. So cool. Kristen, thank you for being with us today. Tell our friends where they can find out more about you and what you're doing online and how you are helping your clients every day.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you can connect with me on Facebook or Instagram. It's my name, Kristin Dronchi. Feel free to shoot me a DM. I will definitely respond. I'm also the host of the Faith and Business podcast, so you can find me there anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Awesome. We'll put those links in the show notes. Thank you so much for being with us and sharing your flamingo heart today. We appreciate having you on. You guys, remember, your message matters. Somebody out there needs to see your pink in order to know what they're, get the message that you have to give them and be fulfilled so they can do their job in the ecosystem. Thanks for listening. Share this with a friend, and we will see you next time.